Hi, my name is Stephanie Stevens, and I'm a planner with the City of Wheat Ridge Community Development Department. I'm presenting case number WZ-24-02, which is a request for approval of a specific development plan, or SDP, for the construction of a three-building restaurant and park corridor being coined the Lookout and located southwest of the 40th Avenue and Clear Creek Drive intersection in the Clear Creek Crossing mixed-use development. The subject site is tucked along the west side of Clear Creek Crossing within Planning Area 6 of the planned development. The site is currently vacant. A Lifetime Fitness facility lies adjacent to the south, a Hampton Inn hotel is currently under construction to the north, and applications were recently approved for a Bonfire Burritos drive-through restaurant and Primrose School to the northeast. The site to the southeast is the last remaining vacant lot on the west side of Clear Creek Drive within Clear Creek Crossing. The internal roadway system and utility infrastructure bordering the site on the east side were completed in late 2022, with some anticipated improvements to Crossing Drive slated to be constructed concurrently with the Lookout site. A trail bordering the west side of the site is currently under construction. The subject site is located within the Clear Creek Crossing planned mixed-use development shown in green and is located within Planning Area 6, which is also called the Harvest District, denoting this area as a commercial subdistrict in the development. The site is surrounded by Clear Creek Crossing development on all sides, with the exception of the Coors Pond to the west, which is under a separate planned commercial development zoning. The request for SDP approval is the second step in a two-part approval process pertaining to plan developments. The first step occurred in 2018 when Planning Commission and City Council approved the Clear Creek Crossing Planned Mixed-Use Outline Development Plan, which established the zoning. The zone change also included approval of a vision book that establishes the intended design and architectural themes and materials, as well as a design pattern book that includes the more substantive development regulations. Planning Commission recently reviewed an ODP amendment that altered the uses and development standards for Clear Creek Crossing zoning and design pattern book and allowed the primary restaurant and entertainment district of Clear Creek Crossing to be relocated to the furthest west side of the development to ultimately facilitate the development of the subject SDP. The applicant is requesting to build 3 restaurant buildings totaling approximately 30,000 square feet, bordering a 0.67 acre park and plaza. Retail, restaurant, and entertainment uses are permitted in Planning Area 6 or the Harvest District of Clear Creek Crossing, which includes the subject site. I'll walk through proposed conditions in more detail on the next few slides, but the site also takes into consideration adequate vehicular access, planning area connectivity, and pedestrian and bike connections. Starting with access, the vacant 4.74 acre site shown in red star on the screen is proposed to be developed with 3 restaurant retail buildings totaling approximately 28,278 square feet in size, bordering a 0.67 acre park and plaza. The primary vehicular access point is proposed into the site via a roundabout extending from Crossing Drive to the east, which is planned to be constructed concurrently with the Lookout site and will connect users from West 40th Avenue to the subject site and feed into surrounding signalized intersections. Now on to site design. The buildings are shown in blue on this slide with surrounding patios in dark gray. The buildings range in size from 6,800 to 8,800 square feet. The primary access point is shown to the east in red. Cross-access connections are provided to Hampton Inn to the north and Lifetime to the south, shown in smaller red arrows. Pedestrian connections are also accommodated to the north, west, south, and east to tie into surrounding streets, trails, and planting areas, and shown in blue arrows on the screen. The SDP reflects 226 proposed shared parking spaces. The parking is situated north, east, and south of the buildings and is broken into smaller lots to avoid large spans of parking areas, and parking is screened from surrounding streets by landscaping. The design pattern book establishes setback and building orientation requirements specific to each development district within Clear Creek Crossing. For Planning Area 6 within the Harvest District, and because of the Denver water easement which traverses the site along Clear Creek Drive, there are no build to requirements. Instead, the buildings must be oriented proximate to the primary pedestrian routes. The buildings and plaza space are primarily oriented to the internal plaza and west side trail. The proposed building orientation will result in an enhanced pedestrian experience along the trail to the west and Crossing Drive to the east, and will allow for easy pedestrian and bicycle access to the trail as well as to the internal roadway network surrounding signalized intersections and adjacent commercial uses. The buildings comply with setback standards of the ODP and Design Pattern Book. Landscaped areas are shown in green on this slide. The project is providing 17.9% landscaping, just under the requirement for 20% of the lot to be landscaped. The design standards in the Design Pattern Book are intended to have some flexibility, and it specifically stipulates that an alternative may be considered if concurrence is achieved by the Community Development Director. In this case, staff and the Community Development Director find the proposed modification to be justified because the proposed landscape and open space design is in keeping with the intent of the design standards. Most developments spread open space throughout a site, but the plaza and gathering space proposed in this SDP create a substantially more consolidated, usable, and attractive design. Additionally, perimeter landscaping, corner plazas, parking lot landscape islands, streetscape trees, planting beds near the buildings, and integrated planters with a variety of trees, shrubs, ornamental grasses, and perennials have been maximized to the greatest extent possible. With parking reductions already in place, there is no way to increase landscape coverage, and staff finds the design meets the intent despite being slightly below the 20% goal. A cantilever deck and tiered retaining wall are shown hugging Building C on the south end to help with grades. I'll get into grading in just a moment. But first, let's talk about the plaza. The Design Pattern Book includes plaza requirements for Planning Area 6 with a minimum of 10,000 square feet of plaza required in this sub-district. This slide shows enlargements of the interior plaza, which is almost triple the minimum requirement at 29,503 square feet in size. It is 21% landscaped and offers entertainment and amenities including an amphitheater, bike station, picnic tables, benches, playground, artificial turf, gaming areas for cornhole and the like, and fire pits. The plaza incorporates overhead string lights and artistic elements such as a tractor slide and water tower public art feature that create a unique public space. The plaza will be owned and maintained by the Metro District and will be publicly accessible. The applicant's intent is to acquire a common consumption liquor license to cover the restaurants and plaza. The plaza will take on a more urban feel and be primarily hardscaped with trees and tree grates. Landscaping is situated primarily in planting beds close to the buildings, entries, and trail to leave open plaza area for active recreation. Grades on the site present a unique challenge. There is about 12 feet of grade change across the site from north to south and about 14 feet of grade change from west to east. Building C, the southern building, and the associated southern parking area are approximately 14 feet above the trail. Tiered retaining walls along the southwest parking area as well as a cantilever deck for Building C have been incorporated to create usable space as shown on this slide. While Applewood Sanitation District has indicated support of the design, a recommended condition of approval has been added to confirm the Sanitation District approves of the retaining wall encroaching into their easement. The grades are highest at the south end and level out to the trail north of the Plaza Amphitheater, where an accessible entrance to the trail will be provided. The architectural style is driven by the Clear Creek Crossing Design Pattern Book and Vision Book, which call for a modern agrarian aesthetic that blends traditional agrarian forms and materials with a modern feel. It also requires strong attention to be paid to the pedestrian realm. The northern Building A, to be owned by Prost, is proposed to be single-story and approximately 28 feet tall. Architecture is comprised of primarily Corten metal, glass, and wood, and takes on a traditional barn aesthetic integrated with a modern glass storefront. The building features material variation to enhance the pedestrian realm and a pitched roof that strongly reflects the agrarian theme. The middle Building B, to be owned by a local restaurant group who operates Recess in Denver and the patio at Sloan's Lake, is proposed to be single-story with an upper-level mezzanine and a rooftop patio on the north side and is the tallest of the three buildings at approximately 31 feet tall. Architecture is comprised of primarily glass and metal with wood accents and includes architecturally integrated metal planters at the pedestrian level that project out and create additional interest. While the overall material palette is similar to Building A, this building takes on a more modern character, incorporating sleek straight lines and an angled roof. The taller portion of the building is fully glass with a metal border and accents, and single-story portions on each end are primarily wood. Metal, wood, and glass are used consistently throughout the project, and while each building is distinctly different, the material palettes and style create a unique cohesion between the three buildings. This building is proposed to be owned by a local restaurant group who intends to operate up to 4 different restaurant concepts within Building B. The southern Building C is a speculative or spec building for which users are not yet known. It is proposed to be single-story at approximately 24 feet tall and is the most modern of the three, with flat roofs that vary in height and plane. Architecture is comprised of primarily metal, fiber cement, wood, and glass with brick and stucco accents. The use of storefront glass, wood, and metal tie into the other buildings. The southern facade of this building is anticipated to contain a mural of a farming aesthetic to further accentuate and tie into the theme. The Water Tower public art feature is also shown here, which will lie adjacent to Building C on the entry side. All three buildings incorporate outdoor seating areas fronting the internal plaza, with wood, metal, and glass elements reflective of the modern agrarian theme. The building materials carry over to all 4 sides of the buildings, resulting in 4-sided architecture. Overall transparency is substantial and meets or exceeds requirements of the design pattern book for the facades facing the street and public spaces. Since Wheat Ridge is served by special districts, we sent the application on referral to outside agencies, including fire, water, and sanitation, as well as completed an internal review. We did not receive objections from outside agencies, and coordination with these districts is ongoing. Civil construction document review is underway, and a plat is under review for the entire Block 4 area to create lots for each site, including the lookout users. A recommended condition of approval has been added to denote that minor changes may be required to the site plan to coordinate this development with surrounding infrastructure improvements being constructed by the master developer. Before the hearing, the property was posted for 15 days and letters were sent to property owners and residents within a 1,000-foot radius, and the project was posted to Wheat Ridge Speaks. No comments have been received to date. Staff finds that the SDP is consistent with the underlying zoning, is in compliance with all standards set forth in the ODP, Clear Creek Crossing Design Pattern Book, and City Code. The SDP is consistent with the purpose of a plan development, and all agencies can serve the property. Ultimately, staff is recommending approval with conditions as listed in the staff report. Thank you.